The land they tried to take. That Friday morning, I woke up to the sound of engines, big ones. When I stepped onto my porch, coffee steaming in my hand, I saw a convoy of white SUVs crawling down the gravel road like a parade of entitlement. The lead vehicle had HOA enforcement plastered across its door, and behind the wheel sat the Queen herself, Margaret Langford, President of the Neighborhood Association, ruler of paperwork and pettiness. She stepped out in a bright pink blazer and sunglasses that probably cost more than my entire truck. Behind her came a dozen more people, her committee, as she called them, armed with clipboards, cameras, and smug smiles. "Mr. Walker," she said, her voice sharp as glass, "we're here to inspect the illegal structure you've built on community land." I followed her gaze to my barn. The same barn my father had built with his own hands 50 years ago, long before there was a subdivision, before they paved over the wild and called it a neighborhood. "This isn't community land," I said, keeping my voice steady. "It's mine. Always has been." She gave a little laugh, the kind that said she didn't hear me or didn't care to. "Our new survey says otherwise. The HOA has decided to reclaim the area for public use. You'll need to remove that structure immediately." Behind her, one of her men started hammering a property of HOA sign into my fence post. My blood boiled. For 2 years, they'd been coming after me, sending letters, threats, fines. They hated that I wouldn't bow down, that I refused to sell. This land wasn't just dirt and grass. It was memory. My dad taught me to fish in that pond. My mom planted the willow trees by the gate, and my granddad's ashes were scattered beneath the old oak at the top of the hill. And now these people wanted to turn it into a community park. I took a deep breath, the diesel fumes thick in the cold morning air. "You're trespassing," I said quietly. "Leave now before this gets ugly." Margaret smiled sweetly. "It already is, dear." That's when her crew moved in, snapping photos, measuring the land, one of them even flying a drone overhead. But what Margaret didn't know was that I'd been ready for this. See, I'm a retired electrician and a damn good one. For weeks, I'd been setting up my little surprise. I walked over to the side of the barn, flipped open a small box hidden behind a wooden panel, and pressed a red switch. A moment later, the sprinkler system roared to life, shooting icy water straight into their designer clothes. But this wasn't just any sprinkler system. It was powered by a 150 psi pump meant for irrigation. The jets hit hard, knocking hats and clipboards flying. The crowd screamed and stumbled back toward their SUVs. Margaret shrieked, her makeup running, as her heels sank deep into the muddy driveway. "You can't do this," she howled. I grinned. "You're right, but I can call the sheriff." And I did. Sheriff Daniels showed up 10 minutes later,